Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the February 16th, 2023 meeting of the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals. I just ask everyone to take a moment to please silence any cell phones. I'd like to start off by introducing members of the board. Starting at the audience's left and my far right is Jerry Patamus. He's an associate member of the board. Moving towards your right is Frank Duffy. He is a full voting member. Mark Finneran, who's a full voting member. My name is James Morse. I'm the chair. To my left is Suzanne Murphy, who is a full voting member, and at the far end is Scott Murphy, Scott Peterson, who is introducing two names. Scott Peterson, who is a full voting member. We're also joined this evening by Noreen Stockman, who is the zoning administrator, and Ashley DeMello, who is our recording secretary. The Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the state zoning statutes as well as the town zoning bylaws and reviewing and voting on applications. All decisions are made through the public hearing process. Our goal is to hear testimony from the applicants and the public to allow a full and fair discussion full and fair discussion of the project prior to rendering a decision. To begin each hearing, the clerk will read the public announcement for the hearing and read pertinent information from the file. The applicant or the applicant's representative will then have 15 minutes to make a presentation. Time may be extended by vote of the board. The board will then question the applicant. Next, the public will be asked to comment. Public comment should be directed only at the project. Please refrain from making any derogatory statements. It can include an opinion in favor or opposition, or to ask a specific question about the project. Comments should be limited to 2 minutes. The chair will limit discussion in the interest of time if comments become repetitive. All members of the public wishing to speak are asked to come up to the microphone to be recognized by the chair. Come to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. Please speak into the microphone. It does not amplify your voice, but it is provided for the benefit of FCTV viewers. The board may continue the hearing to a future date and time. Otherwise, when the board is satisfied that enough information has been presented to make a decision, the hearing will be closed. After the hearing is closed, no more testimony will be taken. The board shall discuss the proposal amongst themselves and then make a motion to approve or deny the application. The motion will be followed by a summary of key findings and conditions. The affirmative vote of 4 members, a supermajority, is required for the approval of special permits, variances, or appeals. A split vote, 3-2, is a failure to carry and would result in a denial. Any zoning board of appeals decision may be appealed as provided for in Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17. First up on the agenda this evening is public comment. This public comment is for any matter that is not currently on the agenda tonight. Is there any member of the public who would like to make a public comment this evening? Seeing none. We have one continuation and request for 3 new hearings this evening. I am going to take, pursuant to my prerogative as chair, one item out of order. That will be hearing under new hearing 03-23, Old Dock Condominium Association, 606 West Falmouth Highway, West Falmouth, which is an appeal of the building commissioner's determination out of order. I'm going to take that up first. We've had a request to continue that matter, I believe, to 4/27/23. And that is the request of the applicant. Is there a member from the applicant this evening, or applicant's representative here? Good evening, sir. Do you mind?
I'm Stephen Ladd from 4 Old Dock Road Condominium Association. I'm one of the trustees. We requested a continuance for additional time to research and confirm findings with legal authority regarding several deed and easement issues that were discovered the past couple of days concerning the right-of-way and this appeal. We are asking for the latest date possible in April, which it sounds like you were very helpful in granting to us. And we had spoken with Ms. Stockman earlier this week, and she advised us to get legal counsel, and that's what we want to do.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion, or how would the board like to proceed on this?
Motion to continue till the 27th.
Second? Second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We have a formal request that you sign, sir, requesting the continuation to 4/27. Sign. Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Next up on continuations, we have hearing 102-22, Martin, trustees of 88 Lucerne Avenue, Falmouth, requesting a special permit to remove the existing deck and construct an addition to the non-conforming single-family dwelling.
Ready for me? Ready for
Just
me?
have to read into the record a few things. Go right ahead.
We have David and Dana Martin, trustees of 88 Lucerne Ave, Falmouth, Mass. They applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240, 10.2A, which is formerly 243C, of the Code of Falmouth to remove an existing deck and construct an addition to the non-conforming single-family dwelling on subject property at 88 Lucerne Ave. And I'll read the comments. We have no comment from fire. No comment from the assessor's office. Water, we have the existing service is a 3/4-inch copper line. We recommend installing a new 1-inch service line that conforms to the current Falmouth utilities. That's for water. And we have engineering. This application was reviewed for impacts to the public rights-of-way and public utilities. Lucerne Ave is a public right-of-way in this area. No alterations are proposed to the right-of-way. Any changes within the right-of-way will require filing a permit with the engineering division. 2, any connections or alterations to public utilities will require permission from the appropriate town department. 3, the project must not direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, or public rights-of-way. 4, dry wells are shown for the new roof area as we typically recommend. 5, where this site is small and work is close to the abutters and the town right away, a driveway permit will not be required. We request that erosion and sediment controls and construction entrance are included for this project. We recommend that the plans be revised to include a demarcated limit of work and include proposed erosion and sediment controls or a plan showing this information. And it's needed to obtain the building permit. We recommend the following condition be included. Construction of this project should follow the town's soil erosion and sediment control standard conditions. Document can be found on the Engineering Division's page of the town's website. References to the Department of Public Works Engineering Division shall be replaced with the Zoning Board of Appeals, who will be the permitting authority for this. That was engineering's. No comment conservation, and no comment from health. This project is sewered. That's what we have.
Any other correspondence?
What?
Any other correspondence?
No, no letters, no.
For the applicant, good evening.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm William Farrington, Farrington Building and Remodeling, representing Dave and Dana Martin. We made all those changes on the plans that engineer required, and I think last meeting, we didn't have it staked out. We did get that staked out. I'm sure you all went out there. After it did get staked out, the Martins looked at it, and they were wondering if the bulkhead, which is now like 10'2" from the property line, could get moved to the back. And what would that entail? Is that something we would have to go through this process again, or is that something I would deal with the building department? Because it would take it less well, it's not non-conforming now, but it would just move the closest point, which is the bulkhead, to the back of the property, and give them a little bit more room on the side.
For to you, Noreen.
Okay. Okay. And
Anything else you'd like to present?
that's it.
Questions from the board? Start with this side.
Okay. Just want to confirm 4 bedrooms?
We are eliminating one upstairs to make like an open space, so it'll be 3 bedrooms.
It'll be 3 bedrooms, okay. On the application, you have proposed structures 16 by 30 and 8 by 13 for a total square footage of 504. It should have been 584, correct?
I didn't do the math on that.
Okay.
That was done by the architect and the engineer, so.
Oh, boy, those architects. Yeah, it should be 584 on the application as opposed to 504. No, I think it's a well-thought-out project, so no further question.
2 questions. So is the bulkhead that's already in place staying? Are there going to be two bulkheads?
Yeah, the existing bulkhead is staying, which is an old Cape Cod bulkhead, so it's a little shorter, smaller head height. So the access to that is limited, and plus it's on the other side of the house, so that's why they would prefer the second bulkhead.
Okay, and then my other question, on the plan, it says the proposed patio looks like, the wood deck is to be removed.
Yeah.
And then it says proposed patio, and it shows it being in between the addition and where the deck used to be. But then when I looked at the application, it looks like the patio's running where the deck was.
Basically, yes, it'll be kind of taking up that same space, yes.
Because it doesn't really indicate that on the plan clearly to me. And that's all I have.
Nothing, it's just, I'd like to comment on this dry well detail. I've never seen that overflow pipe before, and that's actually a good addition, because you know how well the thing's functioning.
Yes,
And just out of personal experience, because I've done a lot of these,
yeah.
I'd like to see them like 15 feet away from the house, because water
Okay.
falls like a pyramid, you know?
Yep.
But that's not my concern.
Okay,
Other than that, it looks fine to me.
very good.
Frank?
Thank you.
My comments really are repeating what Mark said, and I don't have any problem moving the bulkhead. It seems to be a reasonable request, too, so.
Jerry?
No comments.
I have no questions. Questions from the public?
Just a comment. So Robert Dugan, 64 Lucerne Ave, so I live down the street. I just want to go on the record in favor of the project. Seems to fit in very nicely with the neighborhood. They're not going for max lot coverages, which most people do nowadays. The situation with the bulkhead move shouldn't be any issue at all. My only question about the patio space would that be figured into lot coverage at all? I think if it is, it'll still be well under, but I don't know if you need to update that on the final plan.
Care to comment about the question about the lot calculations?
I wasn't aware that the patio is part of the lot coverage, is it? It is part of the lot coverage? Okay.
We're at 23.5.
So there's two lot coverages. One is lot coverage by structure,
Yeah,
being the house and any other building.
yeah,
And then total lot coverage, which is lot coverage by parking, paving, and structure.
okay.
And that would be the house plus patio driveway. So any patio space should be included in that total number.
Okay. I'd have to redo the math to find out if that does, but we could shrink the patio to whatever size if that's maxing out over. We'd be able to shrink the patio to whatever size we need.
Standard, I believe, what, 20 by right, 25 by special permit?
Yeah.
Right, so that's for lot coverage choice by structure, and then you can be up to 40% for total, so.
And we don't have to shrink, we just have to have it be correct.
Yeah,
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any additional questions? Board discussion.
Zero. Motion to close.
I'm
I have a
fine.
motion to close. Second. Suzanne, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
How would the board like to proceed?
Who's doing the math?
I think it can be included as part of the,
It shouldn't be me.
you can make a finding or
Findings.
addition that,
Okay.
findings.
All right, the findings. It's in an RC district. It's in a Little Pond overlay. It's not in a flood zone. The lot size itself is 9749. Existing is 13.8 with a 20% coverage. Proposed will change now, though. So we'll finish that up at the end, I hope. Height, I have it 21.5. It's Seward. It's a 240 10.2A, formerly a 243C. And I think that's all I need. And the patio is 8 by 13, correct? For the math people,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, well,
Yes.
you know what, I don't have that last updated plan, I apologize, because I've made so many copies, and you guys have the last one,
You
so
can have mine.
I'm working off the plan that,
You can have that one. That's what I wrote down from
That's what the
the
application
Yeah.
themselves, 8 by 13.
testimony from the applicant. They intend to move a second bulkhead, condition that updated plans will be submitted.
3 bedrooms?
The testimonies will be 3 bedrooms. They're entitled to 4 by right. I'm not concerned that about the
So, yeah.
cased loft area because of that. We can put a condition that it remain 4 bedrooms. Any other findings?
With conditions?
One,
with the construction?
One person spoke Mr. Dugan spoke in favor. There's no opposition in the file. Any findings on this side? Additional findings?
No.
Conditions?
Work hours?
Standard work hours per revised plans. We can, unless someone feels differently, we can authorize Noreen to make an administrative approval for the bulkhead removal, or excuse me, addition or relocation. Water upgrade to 1 inch, engineering comments incorporated to remain 4 bedrooms. I don't need a cased entrance, given that their testimony was that there was reduction of 1, unless somebody feels very strongly.
Oh, with it not to exceed 4.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Other conditions?
That's it?
Noreen? All those in favor?
We just need the correct figure.
Yes.
Oh, you need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve,
Yep.
excuse me.
Motion to approve.
Second by Noreen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is a vote. Thank you. Thank you for staking properly. And I apologize.
Yeah, just bring a new plan by. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Next up is new hearings. We have application 110-22, Keller, 72 Pheasant Lane, East Falmouth, requesting a special permit to allow a spa pool.
We have Susan R. Keller, 72 Pheasant Lane, East Falmouth, Mass., applied to the zoning board of appeals for a special permit pursuant to sections 240-11.3A, parentheses 4, and 240-10.2A, formerly 243C, and 240-69E of the Code of Falmouth to allow a spa/pool on subject property known as 72 Pheasant Lane.
Referrals?
Referrals. We have nothing from water. No comment assessors. No comment planning. Board of Health. There is sufficient setback between the proposed pool and the leaching pit. However, the pool will have a 20-foot setback to any future septic system that may be required. BSC Group should provide a leaching reserve area that meets setbacks to ensure a future leach field can be installed without variances. You don't want to create the need to issue variances in the future. That was Health Engineering. This application was reviewed for impacts to the public rights-of-way and public utilities. Pheasant Lane is a public right-of-way in this area. No alterations are proposed to the right-of-way. Any changes within the right-of-way will require filing a permit with the engineering division. Any connections or alterations to public utilities will require permission from the appropriate town department. 3, the project must not direct any stormwater runoff to public property. Abutters are public rights-of-way. Where the project falls in the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, we defer to the Commission for Stormwater Management and Construction Erosion Controls. Engineering, and we do have the Concom in here. That's what we have.
And for the applicant.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, excuse me.
Before we start, I've been out and visited the site, and the crux of this whole thing is the distance from the property line. And again, actually, I can't say there were no stakes. There was 1 stake at the property, which did me no good. No indications as to the property line that we're discussing tonight, so I would suggest that the applicant hasn't done their due diligence.
Other comments from the board on the issue?
It's a valid point that Mr. Finneran raises. We have to see what we're doing.
May I speak to that, Mr. Morse?
Certainly.
More than 3 weeks ago, I asked BSC Group to set stakes after I went to the property and saw that I could find only one corner staked, although of course they had been staked for the Conservation Commission. I have received email from BSC Group that said that on the Friday before last, that is 13 days ago, they staked the property lines. And so I don't know when Mr. Finneran went to the property or if he didn't see the stakes, but the licensed, certified surveyors have told me in writing that they staked the property.
I walked the property and it wasn't fully staked either, so I'm not sure what might have happened to some of the stakes, quite honestly.
Well, I have a photo of the stake that's at the corner closest to the garage and the pool location. The other corner is the beginning of the fence to the right of the driveway, and a stake that would have been flagged. It may not have been possible to put a stake there, but it would have been flagged. They also told me that they put two stakes along each of the property lines running down to the water. So I don't know what to say. I'm sure that they did that.
Meeting that the board had this past weekend, the issue of staking was discussed, and it's voted by this board that four corners need to be staked, as well as clearly delineate the scope of the work. It's the board's policy at this point that it would result in a continuance to make sure that it is done properly. At this point, I'm going to defer. At this point, I believe that that's going to be the will of the board, request a continuance.
I saw nothing other than the one stake in the front left corner. It certainly didn't appear to be sufficiently staked to me.
I saw two. I saw the one at the fence when you pulled up in the driveway, and then the other one on the other side. That's all I saw. I went Wednesday around 3.
Are you referring to a stake behind the garage? Or
No, I
what?
went, when you pull up into the driveway, it's right behind the fence.
Correct, that would have been one.
Yep.
I saw and have a photo, although it's a month old, of the flag that's on the corner of the fencing at the rear corner. I have that. And you're saying you saw another one.
I saw
Now,
one
as you go down towards the water,
towards the water.
as you
One.
know, it's very heavily vegetated. My presumption is that if they put those stakes, as they said they did, two on each side, along that, it might have been hard to find. But I also did have a discussion with the zoning administrator about the fact that, in this case, the pool, that's the subject of this hearing, is already in the ground. So if you went there with a plan, you would have seen it. That's not separately staked. I'm prepared to go forward, but if the board is not, it's up to the board.
I mean, the scope of the work was fairly obvious. It's the fence behind the pool. I just like to see everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I do.
And I should
And,
tell
I
you-
mean, that didn't, even if they did miss the corner, the scope of the work wasn't done. There was no indication in the fence. I mean, you know.
I realize this is growing pains, but the board is going to be very adamant going forward that the corners of the lot be marked and that the scope of the work be clearly delineated. So I don't believe this is the case in this matter, at least from the input of at least two of the board members. So I'm going to suggest we're looking at a continuance.
I agree.
I don't like punting, but we've made a decision about this issue. Is there a date that you can have this done by, a short date?
Well, first I'll go out and check myself and see if I see what I was told was there. But as far as a date, what's available, I'm sure it can be
Our
done.
next meeting is March 2.
That would be okay with me.
Motion to continue to March 6th.
Motion to continue has been made. Is there a second? All those, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have hearing 00123, Kidwell, 65 East Falmouth Highway, East Falmouth, requesting a special permit to construct a stairway to the second floor of the non-conforming dwelling.
So we have Stephen and Bonnie Kidwell, 23447 Freeport Avenue, Port Charlotte, Florida, where we're almost as warm as you were today.
Almost.
They applied to the zoning board of appeals for a
Thanks for
special
bringing it with
permit
you.
pursuant to section 240-102A, formerly 243C of the Code of Falmouth, to construct a stairway to the second floor of the non-conforming dwelling on the subject property known as 65 East Falmouth Highway. And let's see what we have for comments. We have no comment from planning. No comment from water. We have engineering. The application was reviewed for impacts to the public rights-of-way and public utilities. East Falmouth Highway is a state right-of-way in this area. Any alterations within the right-of-way could require permission from MassDOT. Any connections or alterations to public utilities will require permission from the appropriate town departments. The project must not direct any stormwater runoff to public property, abutters, or rights-of-way. 2, as we typically recommend, dry wells are included in the design. 3, we do not have a record for 2 addresses at this parcel. We request that the applicant contact the engineering division so that we can get both addresses into the local, state, and federal databases. That was engineering. Then we have Board of Health. No comment. No comment, Marine. Concom, no comment. That's what I have.
Letter 4.
We have 4 letters of support. Good. That's what I have.
Good evening.
My name is Stephen Kidwell. My wife Bonnie and I purchased a property from our family. It's been in the family for about 80 years. We're not making any changes in the exterior of the house. We're going to add this deck, and that's it, to a minimum, 4 foot by 11. It was going to be a little smaller, however, to cantilever it was, the engineer was too costly and difficult, so we added a couple feet on, and a stairway down to the existing platform that's there. No closer to the lot line. The abutter is fine with it, gave a letter of support. And other than updating the inside of the interior of the house that's been not really maintained well, we put a lot of money into cleaning it up. We're going to make no changes. This summer, we're going to come in for a permit to level the porch and fix the outside and paint the outside and landscape. So other than that, we're just asking for this door and the access to the second floor.
Board questions. Start with you, Jerry.
No questions.
Frank?
No.
Mark?
No, nothing that, other than, I'd offer the same advice I gave the last person. It's, you keep your dry wells at least 15 feet away from the house, you're never going to have a problem with moisture. These, again, seem a little close.
Yeah, on that one side, it's a little close. I'd have to look into the highway, how far we got to be. The roof's so small, maybe engineering could take a look at it for me and get one on that
Or the
big side.
The property goes down towards
long
the
ways,
right,
yeah.
so as far as you can stretch it, there would be.
Okay.
But the driveway does limit you as well.
Yeah.
But just like I've done a million of these things, and if you go 15 feet, it just works best.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense, no?
Public comment. Anyone? Discussion on the project.
I'm fine. I think it's reasonable.
Yep. Good project.
Is there a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor to close the hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
That's closed. How would the board like to proceed?
Motion approved. With
Motion to approve with conditions. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Give that to Mark. Findings?
Findings. It's in an RC district. It's in Great Pond Overlay, not in a flood zone. Lot size is 8349. It's a public road, state road. It's now 13.3, and the complete structure and paving is 37.6. Going to go to 14.0 and 38.2. 4 letters in support, the 240-102A, formerly 243C. That's all I have.
No opposition offered at the hearing, 4 letters of support in the file. Any additional findings? Conditions? Per plans, standard hours of work,
Yeah.
incorporate the engineering comments, especially about the numbering. reconciliation.
Anything else, Noreen?
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, really is.
Striking decks and stairways are usually pretty easy. We should have a few more of these.
Yeah.
Any additional conditions on this side?
We should have deck and stairway night once a month.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That's a vote. 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our hearing list this evening. It's 33 minutes, 32
Broke
minutes.
records.
All right, we have open meeting agenda items, voting minutes. Are we proceeding on both January 19th and,
Just the 19th.
so we'll table February 2nd. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes of January 19th? Are there any additions, corrections, or substitutions?
Again, I say no.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 19th?
So moved.
Give
Second.
that-
Give it away.
Suzanne.
Give it away.
Second to Mark. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's a vote. The confirmation of our bylaw working group members. And I believe it's going to be Duffy and,
Yes.
just Mr. Duffy, or is it, all right?
No, Mr. Peterson.
Mr. Peterson. all
Oh,
right.
yeah, he's already on it.
So I'll make a motion to approve our 2 members. To the,
I'll second that.
give that-
Heartbeat.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The vote. Board discussion. Do we have anything? Seeing none.
I just thought the meeting was great myself.
Yeah, under board updates, for the benefit of FCTV and anyone in the audience, the board had a retreat this past weekend, which we discussed some of our procedures and other things. One of us was just voted on about who was going to be on the recodification committee. The issue about the staking has come up again, and moving in a different direction to make sure that 4 corners of the lot are clearly delineated, as well as the scope of work. So those out there, more is better, so that the board can make a determination, a decision about what's coming. Any other board updates?
No?
New ones don't start till 8.
Future agenda items? Does anyone have anything that needs to be,
We covered that really on Saturday morning.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And a nice job.
It was a good meeting.
might add.
I believe the next one we're talking about would be in October, correct?
We're going to do this twice a year, probably. Is that the plan?
That's going to be the plan,
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
about
Yeah,
6
that
months.
sounds
Just to-
So everyone has everything down.
What, steaks or what?
Well, no, but there'll be issues that come up from time to
come up
time.
from time
and
to
there'll be- We'll have something to talk about in October.
We will.
Anything else that we have not covered? All right, our next meeting will be here on March the 2nd, 2023, at 6:30 PM here in the Selectmen's Meeting Room. I wish everyone a good night.